Coach Rick said yesterday that they aren't going to help up-tempo offenses by telling hurt players to run off the field, just lay down, and then wait for play to stop. Is that like the next step in this chess match, perhaps? Or what's your take on it?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I think you're seeing that more relevant throughout the country. You're seeing teams that are falling into that suit. It's again, it's hard to say, but that's I think we all see the same thing.
Chad, is there anything the NCAA can do? I mean, at this point, it's so hard. You can't tell if the guy's hurt or not. At some point, do you think they could step in and try to police this kind of thing or crack down on it at all?
Well, you figure that somebody's gonna have to do something. But again, it's just from a liability standpoint, I don't know what you can do. With the way it is. I mean, with some things you just have to. As an official, I guess that would be. What would it be, a delay a game or something? I guess if you're going to flag somebody for something like that, it was when I was at Tulsa. We ran into the same thing when we were at Tulsa, and so again, those are just things that you do, and obviously our tempo is going pretty good when people are doing that to us. So, but anyways, again, I'm worried about my own house burning down.
You're not talking about Georgia per se, but do you run into maybe guys? How much respect do you maybe lose for other?
Well, and again, I'm not going to address all that. I mean, I think we all see the same thing, and I think you see it more relevant throughout the country in these hurry up, no huddle teams.
Isn't it a way for them to fix it, just to do like you guys do, just get themselves in better shape? Isn't that just a way to kind of combat it?
Yeah.
How does it feel to beat beat two SEC teams out of the last three, with the way that ESPN and all the announcers pretty much talk about the SEC being the highest of them all, kind of thing?
Well, again, I think Coach Sweeney's done a great job addressing that issue or that area with what our program has done over the last few years, and to be able to the last two games going against top opponents. I mean, very respectable opponents throughout. They're highly respected throughout the country, and in college football, and been one of some of the most winningest programs in the country. And for us to do what we've done and play and win in those two ball games. I mean, at some point people are going to have to talk a little bit about Clemson as well, and so we're all we are is 1-0, and we beat a good Georgia Bulldog team that has obviously a lot of respect and won a lot of games in the SEC. But in the end, at the bottom line, we're 1-0, and we can't worry about everybody else. We've got to worry about the Clemson Tigers, because there's a lot of things that we've got to do to improve and to get better, and let everything else worry about itself. And like I said, and I know we've talked about the trying to slow down the hurry up, no huddle, and all that bit. Hey, that's it is what it is. It's what you're seeing, and something's going to have to be done about it. But at the same sense, it's about the Clemson Tigers right now.
When you go over the tape, what are the biggest areas you look at and you say we can improve here?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, we can play faster. Taj slowed us down a whole bunch. I mean, that was some of his biggest downfalls. I mean, he played well. There's no doubt. I mean, he played like a veteran, like he's supposed to play. But as far as the tempo, especially in the third and fourth quarter, he was the one slowing us down because he wasn't getting his eyes to the sidelines quick enough. And so those are things we got to improve on. Obviously some of our mechanics and our steps up front and our offensive line has got to improve. We got too many drops. We had 6 drops. I mean, Taj goes 18 of 30 with 6 drops. I mean, again, we can improve that, and that's kind of been uncharacteristic of us this spring and fall. So, we know what these guys, our receiving core, has done, and we've had a good fall camp, but you're going to have drops. We understand that. We get that. But we can't have 6 drops, especially on critical third down situations that could have led to more points. And so, those are things that we will. You remember Brandon Ford had several drops in that first game. Then he had 5 himself. So those guys will get better in that regard. But, yeah, there's plenty of room for improvement. And we're definitely going to start in on that. I mean, nobody's – I promise you, we're not going to let them walk around thinking that, 1-11 is not a real good season, or 1-10, or how many games we play. I mean, it isn't the first game you're going to be remembered by.
Do you worry about Martavis's confidence level or him regressing?
No, absolutely not. No. Martavis is a special talent. We all know what kind of talent he is. We've seen him make big catches, and it's just hey, that was his first time to start, and much like Brandon Ford a year ago, to where he was kind of thrust into the limelight, and this was his turn, and I think you saw that with Martavis, and he did have one really good reception, and that was that onside kick there at the end to catch that one. So that might have been the biggest one of all. I'd much rather him drop all the others and catch the onside kick than the other way that would have happened. But he's going to get better, and I'm not worried about Martavis at all. He's going to be fine.
How do you feel about your defense? That was a big question going into the season, or in the offensive line. How do you feel about them now after the game on Saturday?
Well, we felt like in order for us to move the ball effectively, we've got to be balanced and we've got to be able to run the football. And I think we saw that. The offensive line took a lot of pride in it. There are 4 veteran guys up front. And again, when you have veteran guys, you ask them to play like veterans. And to be able to control the line of scrimmage. We're still a little weak in some pass protection issues, but we'll get that cleaned up. But I thought running the ball was definitely part of the success that we had. That really helped contribute to our success throughout the night.
Chad, were you a little bit surprised when Taj wasn't looking over as quickly, just because you guys have done this for a while now? He's done this for a while now. Did it catch you a little bit by surprise? Have you talked to him yet?
No, I've talked to him about it. Not really. I mean, it's just some things, going back and looking at notes from last year, and it's the same type of thing. You get it caught up in the moment, and and what I'm asking is his eyes to get around extremely quick. Now, again, I'm being very picky when I'm grading him in this regard, and but no, not at all. I mean, those are just things that you get caught up in the moment, and hey, he's carrying his fake out, and just not getting his eyes around fast enough for us to get 3 more snaps a game. And that's all I said, Taj, we could have gotten 3 more snaps a game, maybe 5 if you would have just get your eyes around quicker on us. And so, but those are things that you can improve. Those are fixable. We had 2 3-and-outs. And that cost us 6 more snaps, a minimum of 6 more snaps in the game. While we snapped the ball 79 times, had some penalties in there, only got credited for 76, but they had to line up and play 79 times. They had to get down in a stance. And so, I felt like we could have at least gotten 10 more snaps in the game for sure. And those are things that we'll work on, and we'll be faster this week than we were last week.
You talk about the running game, obviously. You had to be pleased with what Rod was able to do in his first true start as the guy in the backfield.
Yeah, Hot Rod is a guy 2 years ago was contemplating transferring, and he's just like all young players. They want to play and they want to contribute right now, and he wasn't, and but he was never a distraction, and that's what was great about him 2 years ago, and for him to see him wait his turn and to come out in a game of this magnitude and perform on such a high level at the stage he was at, it says a lot about him and the hard work he's put in. And you find guys that when it becomes their turn, you see them kind of rise above the things that they didn't think they could achieve. And but Hot Rod is definitely one of our leaders, and has demonstrated that, and very proud of him, and just says a lot about a guy that understands how the program is built.
How much more of a physical runner is he, even compared to just going back last year?
Well, I mean, I don't think comparing himself to last year. I think he's worked in some regards that he had to become more of a physical runner, but understanding when it's okay to try to hit the home run and when is it okay to just try to get your 3 to 4 yards and get out, and not realize that every play is going to be a bounce it outside and go. And so I think he did a really good job of setting that up and knowing when the right time and to make the cuts and to get outside. And so I was proud to see him improve in that area. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of being a veteran and getting the reps that he got last year and the quality of games that he played in.
Did Zach Brooks show you enough that you would trust him more?
Yeah, I think so, without a doubt. I think Zach has came on, and we knew he had a good fall, had a really good spring, and to be able to play at the level he played at, make the unbelievable catch on the sidelines, great pass, great catch, really good protection up front. And then be able to knock off a few runs of critical runs, 3rd and short, and then another big run right there on that 13-play drive that chewed up a lot of clock.
Speaking of that, I saw on the replay last night they were trying to strip the football very pretty heavily on that drive. He was covering up. Is that something you've really talked to him about?
And ball security's been a must. We preach it every day and have since the first day that walked in the door, and how we keep up with our ball security in practice and harping on it. So absolutely. I mean, and our guys have did a really good job with it. And Taj did. There was a couple of times that he had the ball kind of a little bit loose on some of his runs, but. We've got to get that secured, but I was pleased. We had 0 turnovers from the offensive side of the ball, which is one of our goals, and we achieved that.
How did the linemen grade out? Maybe not specifically numbers wise.
I think they graded. Pretty well. They got along. Still, while we did some really good things, I mean, there was a lot of things as we as coaches look at, and we can get so much better. I mean, I was pleased with those guys, but still, we've got a long way to go with them, and we got a lot of football left to be played, and so, those guys understand that, and my point this morning to those guys was that look, all this was just a starting point. It was just a gauge. So now we've set a standard. Here's where we are. And now we've got to work from there, and we got to improve each week. And I think I said it last Saturday. So you see the biggest improvement in your football team, or the teams I've been a part of in the past, from week 1 to week 3, and just those weeks in there of just you see the biggest growth in your team, and then you ask at that point for a steady climb through the course of the season. So they all have to get better. Each and every one of them has to get better, and that's what we're going to really push for this week. And they're not going to, I can promise you, they're not going to come out and feel like they've achieved every goal that we've set for ourselves this year, and walk around like they've done something. I mean, we're 1-0, but I mean, we've got a lot of ball left to be played, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go out and win.
Are you trying to keep their heads small, or not keep their egos so big with winning a game day?
Yeah.
Number 5 team, that kind of thing. How are you keeping
Well, I mean, I can, while everybody in the country is telling them how great they are right now, I mean, that's the last thing they need to do is be listening to that. I can click on a lot of film and show them that we're a long way from being where we need to be. And you can flick back to every the last 2 years and watch the very first game of the season, and then turn it on at the end of the year, and you'll look back and go, wow, I mean, we really weren't that good at the first of the year. I mean, and that's what you want to see as your season progresses. So, you don't have to worry about that. These guys we're not going to be signing any autographs with them. I can tell you that with those guys. I mean, they got a long way to go, but we've taken a step in the right direction. I'm proud of them, but
not to assume anything this week, but this could be a week where you see more Mike Williams, T.J. Green in the passing game, to potentially get some of those guys out there, get some experience.
Well, I mean, I don't think that you can promise that by no means. We've got to get some guys, our starters, with some confidence and some experience. Martavis Bryant needs as much experience as he can get right now. and same way with Sharon and Sammy and Adam and G-Hop, and so those are kind of your guys right there that you really got to try to get some experience with for the long haul. You hope to be able to get those guys in at some point in time, but at the same sense, you've got to have a trust there too. And while they've stepped in the right direction, came a long way, I mean, we've still got to, those guys are going to be really good players for us, but we got to keep working toward our goal.
If the opportunity presents itself, could we see Chad Kelly this weekend?
Well, I mean, again, there's no promises there. He's ready to play. Cole Stout's ready to play. And that's all we can say. They were ready to play last week, and so.
What was the first time, going back to the injuries thing? Did you see that at Lake Travis? People trying to slow you down, or was it when you got to Tulsa?
Yeah.
Chad, you tweeted yesterday about the crowd. How much
Unbelievable.
did the crowd help?
Wow. I mean, we're glad that we could hold up our end of the bargain. I mean, the crowd did their part. And from the time we got off the bus to the time that we got home about 4 o'clock in the morning, I mean, it was they did their part, and unbelievable. And believe me, their efforts and their energy did not go unnoticed. It was you knew it on the sidelines, you felt it on the sidelines, and to see our crowd and our student section, that was special. That was really special, and our guys really appreciated that, and they're just glad they did their part to get going.
Did you get a chance to see ESPN's 10-minute thing about you guys running down the hill?
Yeah, it was special.
Yeah, I was wondering about what is when they have that, and then you just described the atmosphere. How much does that help in recruiting when you've got high school kids sitting home seeing that whole thing packaged in the
Well, when it was broadcast all over the country, and and to see, our university put on a stage in front of the entire country, and to show what our traditions are here, and to have recruits see that. We've gotten phone calls from all over the country from recruits that we're now in their top list, and so that's great to know and great to see, and that's the way it should be. This is a very special place, and that was pretty unique to see, and yeah, absolutely, it helps us in recruiting.
You walk onto the fields, you don't participate in that. Was it revealing to you in any way? Did you learn anything new by watching that whole? Well,
I've came down the hill last year and the year before, so I've done the experience, and obviously not to a crowd of that craziness, and so I was definitely in a maze as well when I came down the hill.
What
I thought it was
for
really.
you guys to see during warm-ups, the hill and the student section just packed like that?
Yeah.
We've all seen that in
Yeah.
Utah.
Like I said, from the time we got off the bus, it was really spirited. It was crazy, and hey, we expect that this week too.
What about the stepping up? Did you like enough to have him kind of line up as that extra tight end?
Wow, Patrick's he's a passionate guy. I mean, that guy's passionate. He loves football. He loves his role. He's going to be a really good offensive lineman for us. But his role right now is to come in and help us and being kind of that tight end guy for us. And we get Sam back, and Patrick's going to stay there, and he's going to serve in some roles and that. But did a great job. And played 13 snaps, I believe, and that was probably as big a 13 snaps as we played. And he made an impact while he was in there. And man, you gotta really appreciate that about that guy. I mean, he's put his time in and has worked extremely hard. And I'm proud for him. Now, he wants to play that formation every play, and he's trying to tell me to play it every play, but he's very passionate about it.
At
And
what point did you guys start using there? Was it after Sam went down in the spring, or did he do some work there?
well, I mean, because he's played tackle, he's played guard, and so, there's some things we've been working on with him, and so, yeah, we've had to do that to help us out in some areas, and that's really been an addition to us.
He had a nice seal block on Taj's first touchdown run. Does it help having a former offensive lineman in that situation?
It does. It does. I mean, he understands it. He gets it, and so I was excited for him, and not just that one play, but he had several key plays, and we may not have scored every play, but I mean, there were several key blocks that he had that was really made an impact
Did you
with him
have
on
that
the field.
maybe that kind of versatility in mind when you guys were recruiting him, or was that just he has a little experience?
Well, we knew he had played some fullback in high school, and so we knew he could do it. But obviously we're not. He's got the capability of still being an offensive lineman, and that's what he is. That's what he's going to be for us. But right now, I mean, he's got really good hands. So I mean, he's definitely has been an asset to us. All right, that's it.
Yeah, I guess so.
What about South Carolina State? Your opponents are coming.
Yeah, I was about to.
Y'all were gonna ask about
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Forgot about that.
That's right. A lot of FCS wins this past week.
Wow, yeah. I mean, these guys here are very well coached. Going to give us a lot of different looks up front. They do a really good job of disguising their secondary. They got great athleticism, and they run to the ball. But they're going to try to mix up their coverages and disguise their fronts and do some movements and give us different looks. And hey, we just again. We worry about the Clemson Tigers. Like I told you a week ago, that's our biggest focus right now is making sure we get better from week 1 to week 2. And then next week it'll still be about the Clemson Tigers trying to get better from week 2 to week 3.
Will that come up, all the FCS wins last week? Because it was...
Hey, I don't know if we'll make – I'm sure somebody will bring it up. But, again, I mean, it's – our biggest opponent, just as it was last week, was the Clemson Tigers. And that'll be brought up a whole bunch. And all right.